All for being here. I mean, congratulations too. Like, hello. I forget. I've been doing this stuff for a while and I've got a little desensitized to how hard it is to start, how like, and every once in a while I'll walk into a place that's really unfamiliar and I don't know anybody and I'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember. I remember this is like, this is hard. This is hard and it's scary. So I still get very scared as well. So I can imagine the discomfort that may accompany being here. A couple of things, I have a little bit of agenda for tonight. One, I want to tell you about next year's program. I want to tell you about the interim program. And I want to, since you're here, I want to survey you about best times for the interim program. We'll worry about the next year's program when we get there. I want to share some ideas with you and see how they resonate with you right now. So the first thing was, during my recent research, I've been interviewing a lot of people and I'm hopefully get to about 20 at least. These are like 20-minute interviews. Some of you have been interviewed by me. And I've noticed at least 5 common threads. One, wanting a community of like-minded people with whom to share openly without judgment, with respect, with honor, with diversity and unity, all of that. 2, caring less about what others think or feel about me so I can be completely authentic and honest with myself. 3, not worrying so much. Just being able to identify the worries and work with them. They don't go away. Being more consistent with self-love and self-care, active self-care, consistent daily practices that benefit me, my mental health, emotional health, physical health. And truly knowing and feeling that I am enough exactly as I am today, even though I'm on a road and I know I'm not where I used to be, and I know I'm not where I'm going to be, but right now, damn it, I am good enough. I am enough today. And I want to embrace that. I want to embrace that brilliance and that beauty because it's true. And I believe that's true. So that's one thing. Here's some interesting food for thought and see how this kind of lands on you. Some of these might be a little redundant. Moving out of isolation and not unrealistically afraid of other people, including authority figures. Not depending on anybody else to tell me who I am. Not depending on anyone else to tell us who we are. Not automatically frightened by angry people. And no longer regarding personal criticism as a threat. Wow. Is this resonating with anyone else? Because it makes me very excited.
But in tall order, I can't go through with it.
Funny girl. We do not have a compulsive need to recreate any kind of abandonment or fear of abandonment. Stop living life from the standpoint of victimhood and not attracted by this trait in any important relationship. Not using enabling as a way to avoid looking at my shortcomings. Do not feeling guilty when I stand up for myself. We aren't feeling guilty when we stand up for ourselves. Avoiding emotional intoxication and choosing workable relationships instead of constant upset. That means staying out of the drama. Being able to distinguish love from pity and not thinking about rescuing pity and pity as an act of love. It's different. Avoiding coming out of denial about any trauma that we may have experienced in childhood. There's a different kind of trauma. It's called CPSD, PTSD. It's not the kind of trauma that military people experience. but see, PTSD is a real trauma that does affect adults in adulthood. So coming out of denial about any traumatic childhood and regaining the ability to feel and express emotions. Feeling and expressing emotions safely. Stop judging and condemning ourselves and discover a sense of self-worth. Not like the L'Oreal kind, I'm worth it. I'm going to get my nails done. No. The kind that says, I'm sorry, I can't do that thing for you because I need to make some time for self-care. I need to create this barrier in my day, this boundary around taking care of this thing because it is worth it. Growing in independence and no longer terrified of abandonment because I have interdependent relationships with healthy people, not dependent relationships with people who are emotionally unavailable. And I become someone who lives from, or we become people who live from response rather than reactivity. Reactivity is all about the past and fear of the future. Reactivity is what most people live 95% of their lives out of reactivity. Being able to live out of the present moment and response in the present moment rather than living out of reactivity. So these are the kind of ideas that I've named so far that we'll be exploring in these meetings. I'll be kind of talking about each one individually. So the first program is the introduction program. Rather than going into the full program, which is next year, I'll tell you about that in a second. I just wanted to have like a time of introduction. And it's not a huge commitment. You get to get your feet wet. You get to get into a community. You get to participate and start to learn about how we're going to do this community and learn that it's really going to be a safe space because I'm here to make that happen. And I will not allow it to be an unsafe space. And if at any time anybody thinks that it's an unsafe space because I didn't do my job, I am open for anybody to come to me and say, hey, Kristen, that did not feel safe to me. And I'm going to listen to the impact. And I'm going to take it in really importantly. So creating this community is a huge part of what I do and what I'm passionate about because I lived in isolation for so long and because I've met so many people living in isolation. Not being understood, not being heard, not being listened to, not being given attention as a human with human emotions and situations. So the logistics of the first one is I want to come up with a day. It'll be every other week. So that's meeting twice a month for 4 months. That's just 8 meetings, September through December, 8 meetings, September through December. There could be cases where it could be 2 weeks in a row because there's a holiday or something. But it'll be twice a month for 4 months, 8 meetings. I'm going to set those meetings up in advance so you can carve them out on your calendar. You can block them out. You can safeguard them against anything interfering with them. But that's when I would ask for a commitment because as a community, I'm not committing just for myself. That's what community is about. I'm committing for you guys too. I know I'm going to benefit, but I want to show up for you. And that's the same thing I want you to do is show up for yourself, but also show up for the group. So that will be, I'm hoping, either a Monday night time to be, we'll talk about that time in a little bit, or a Sunday night, Sunday or Monday night. And nights seem to work best for most people because there's a lot of people who have day jobs where they have to be at work. And I know it's not ideal for everyone, but if I really want something, I'll make it work. I remember when I was first getting into this program that changed my life, and I was just dabbling in it because I really still wanted to do things my way. And I went to my mentor sponsor and I said, oh man, why don't I feel any better? I'm going to meetings and I think I'm doing the right things. And she said, have you given up your old ideas? What? Why would I do that? I'm really smart. I've accomplished a lot in my life. I'm doing pretty well. Why would I want to give up my old ideas? I had to figure out what old ideas were getting in my way before I could let go of them. So as a spiritual plumber, that's my identity, a spiritual plumber. I can help you maintain your pipes if your pipes are clean. Maybe you're an old house and you have an old set of pipes. You had an old house and an old set of pipes, and you have a new house now and you need a new set of pipes. So we're going to just give you a new set of pipes so you can have flow. Maybe you've got some light blockages. Oh, things are flowing okay. But I feel like, maybe there's just something a little bit more, a little bit better, a little bit more exciting that I can feel or be or do. I can help you with that. Or possibly the pipes are really clogged. And we can work with that too. So wherever you are in this process of your plumbing, I'm going to give you some plumbing tools. I'm going to give you homework and let you use the tools on your own. We can set up accountability for that as well, if you'd like that. And then we can meet regularly to talk about how these plumbing tools are working for us and what's going on in our lives, and, just the basic stuff of day-to-day accumulation of stuff in those pipes, and how we're going to continue to clear it out little by little, step by step, not all at once. I'm not going to come in with like Roto-Rooter and just suck it to you. That's cruel. But as you're ready to kind of release, and let go. The other thing that she said to me at that point was, have you committed like 90 to like working this program like every day for 90 days? Have you really made this commitment? And I was like, no, I really haven't. I'm still doing it my way. Like I'm going once a week, but I'm not necessarily doing stuff throughout the week. She's like, well, you might want to try it if you haven't tried it. Well, I hadn't tried it, so I wanted something. I had to do something I'd never done. And that daily commitment made a huge difference. And, like I had it in my mind that I had other things that were so much more important to do. Like, I had to go home and clean my house, or I had to go get groceries or something. Yeah, those things are important. But if I'm mentally ill, emotionally ill, physically ill, are those things really that important? Could they be done at another time? Could I postpone them a little bit? Could I just finagle my life around to make that work? And so, I started going, I was limited to only going to evening meetings myself. And I would only go to evening meetings. And when she said that, I started going to noon meetings. I started being much more open to making this wellness, this well-being, a lot more of a priority. Just maybe a story of encouragement for you. So far, if we're talking about the program between September and December, do you have any questions?